All right, guys, Colin Wayne here, founder and CEO of Millionaire Creator and RedlineSteel.com. Marketing 101, massive impact in the community. iOS 15 went live and the impact behind it. Guys, this is pretty serious when it comes to email marketing at scale. One of the main metrics that most people look at is based on engagement. Engagement based on open rates. With this new update, essentially you're going to have to look at metrics a little bit different. If you're sending out conditioned segments or campaigns based on that metric of openers, you're going to have to shift that over. What I'm going to do is I'm going to jump into my computer and I'm going to build out a few evergreen audiences that you can utilize and essentially try to navigate through this. You know, these are all struggling and challenging times from iOS 14 and now 15. 14 impacting the privacy impact to get pixel data from off platform back on platform, navigating through that. Now this new challenge impacting the email Privacy Protection Act is a new challenge that you're going to have to overcome. It is very concerning, and you're going to have to look at things a little bit holistically different. So what we're going to do is jump into my computer and I'll show you exactly what you can do to hopefully navigate through this, and we'll get through this together. All right, guys, welcome to the back end of my Klaviyo account, which is our CMS platform that we're using for email. As you can see, Redline Steel, that is a company that I own. With iOS 15, some of the challenges are actually being able to use that metric of open. So your primary engagement is going to be, we're going to have to use a different metric. And so what we've got here below is 3 separate categories based on different tiers. So ascending from the bottom to the top, which is going to be, you can see right now, active engagers or active customer or active engagers, maybe not customers, we don't have that as a definition. Here's the definition here. Open at least 3, bounced is less than 4, which is 3 times in the last 60 days, marked email spam 0 times, and they're not suppressed. I like to include different type of versions of master clean lists. So I'll do a list clean plus within the segment itself, I'll condition them. So, and then this is basically another tier. So instead of the same time frame, 60 days, 5 or more times. And because I send I send a good bit of emails, they've opened greater than, or they've clicked greater than 1, which is 2, and then open an email greater than 6, which is 7 in the last 30 days. So this is a little bit tighter of a parameter. As you can see, it's a lot less people, but this is going to be a super targeted engaged group where my open rates could be 60, 70%. What we're going to have to do, guys, is pivot these entire audiences, and let me show you what we're going to do to kind of combat this. We're going to essentially take out the opened category, and instead of open, we're going to go click, and we're going to open this to a little bit broader of a broader spectrum. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to do when someone has clicked email at least once, and we'll just keep it, I'm going to do 60 days. And I'm going to change this. And let's take this into a category of customers versus non-customers. So this is going to be a customer category. And what I'll do is I'll just add another and condition. So and when someone has, let's just say, placed an order at least once over all time, and I use an app called CartHook, which is going to use a different metric API. And so let's see what this happens. Essentially, I'm just changing my metrics. I'm going to keep where the click, instead of open at 3+, now it's going to be clicked, and I'm going to keep that 60-day time frame while still excluding those that have marked email as spam, bouncing. But I want to condition it where I know that these are active they are a customer as well. And then we'll do one for non-customers. So we'll go ahead and update this segment, and let's see what that total number is. It's going to go from 316 to a much lower number. But at the end of the day, it makes no difference. If they're not clicking and you're sending emails, why keep them in there to begin with? So this is going to be just an active customer list. We can create another duplicate and essentially placed order 0 times over all time for non-customer, but they are actively engaged, so you can warm them up. Let's see what this goes to. This was at 316,000 people. I'm expecting this to significantly drop lower. But like I said, at the end of the day, if they're not clicking the email, what's the point of sending it to them to begin with? So let's see. Okay, so as we can see, it did drop from 316,000 to 96,977, which is still pretty strong. I'm pretty happy with that performance so far. We'll go ahead and adjust these other ones, and I'll show you how to build the non-customer as well. So, all right, guys, so this is our super engaged list. I'm going to leave it as 2 or more, right? So it's greater than 1, which is 2. Bounces less than 4 in the last 60 days. Marked email spam 0 times. They're not suppressed, and they placed an order at least once. So we know that they are at least a customer. And I'll keep that. And now we'll go ahead and populate this segment, and it'll move from 247. And I'm expecting this to drop down to probably in that 65 to 70,000 threshold. And that's just a random guess. I have no clue. We'll see in a second. And then while that's populating as well, we'll go ahead and update this definition as well for this top tier engagement. All right, guys, so just added and updated this last one, which is our top tier engagers. Change this to audience, and this is going to be, so essentially what I did was, this is the one where they had opened at least 7 emails and they clicked 2 or more. Now it is, instead of 60 days, I made it a little bit shorter of a window. Greater than 2, it is 3. And instead of 60, I'm putting 45. Marked emails span 0 times, bounced less than 4 in the last 90 days. They're not suppressed, and they placed an order at least once. So we know that these are top engaged tier customers at this point. So we're going to go ahead and update this segment, and let's see how I did on my last guess on the mid tier. So we went from 247, and it's still populating. So we'll see what happens. All right, guys, so real quick, what I'm doing now that we are segmenting based on customers and non-customers, which we have different conditioned audiences for that already. We call that the evergreen, which is right here. But I'm going to have one specifically now that we've updated because of iOS 15. So I'm creating a new tag. If you use Klaviyo, you can go down to tags, add tag, type in whatever it is that you want, and then what we're going to do is go back into lists and segments, and this just allows you to kind of find people a lot easier. So you'll see audience, non-customer, and then this I can just go ahead and modify and change to customers as well. All right, guys, so as you can see, our new audience customer tag is set up this way. Here's the definitions. Feel free to screenshot this if you want. And hopefully this helps you out. As you can see, this went from pretty broad, 316,000 I think was our top, or was our normal. And then, but this is, you know, we've got placed order at least once over all time. We have over 1 million customers, as you can see, so the list is pretty big. So just making sure that we're conditioning things correctly is super important. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and create a non-customer tag, and essentially they're going to be the exact same thing, but placed order equals 0 times. I'm going to go ahead and build that out just so you can have that as a reference guide as well, and I'll show you what that looks like. So you walk with me. So right now I'm building out the non-customer low tier which is 1+ click. So we know that they're engaged, bounced less than 4, which is 3 in the last 90 days, when someone has marked email spam at least once over all time, and when someone has placed an order 0 times over all time. And because I use Shopify and CartHook, we're going to have different metrics. So I'll put an or instead of the and. 0 times. And then this one is going to be that they're not suppressed. And that should be everything. And we'll create the segment. And then what we'll do is we'll create the other tiers as well. Oh, here we go. Someone has. All right, I'll build this one with you from the top. So this is our mid-tier non-customers. Someone has clicked at least once in the last, and we're keeping the time frame the same. So that's going to be 60 days. And when someone has, let's say, bounced is less than 4 within the last 90 days. And when someone has marked email as spam 0 times over all time, and when someone has placed an order 0 times over all time. And a lot of you will just, if you don't use other APIs, you could leave it just as this Shopify one. You may not have the same metrics as I do. So this is going to be placed order 0 times. I'm just trying to condition it where it is specifically for non-customers, but they're engaged. And then you can treat these customers completely different. You can look at sending them irresistible offers to nurture them into being a customer and just speak different to them because we know where they're positioned. And then they're not suppressed, right? So we'll go ahead and create that segment as well. And then we have one more high tier customer engaged audience, non-customer engaged audience that we need to build as well. All right, guys, so this is our non-customer audience. So as you can see through the definitions here, that's currently populating. Looking at the very, very bottom, this is your lowest, which is going to be your more of like your top of funnel, and then moving up would be the more or the most engaged. So you have a low tier, a mid tier, and a high tier. These numbers will drastically get smaller and smaller as the tier continues to go to that bottom of the funnel. So the lowest tier is right here. Clicked email at least once in the last 60 days. They bounced less than 4 times, which is 3 in the last 90 days. Marked email spam 0 times over all time, and we know that they have not placed an order and they're not suppressed. And the only difference between this one and this one is that it's greater than 1, which is 2 or more, in the last same time period, so 60 days. And as you can see, it's basically cut in half. And then we go greater than 2, but instead of 60 days, I've tightened the time frame to make this the highest tier at 45 days. Everything else remains the same. So you have a low tier, mid tier, and high tier. And these are your non-customers. I'm utilizing a tag, very, very simple, so you can easily find audiences. So here's your audiences for customers and then non-customers. So it's a simple way that you can keep track of everything. And because it's segmented, it constantly changes as well. Guys, if you got value from this, I've got several courses on our website, millionairecreator.com. I'll go ahead and post a link. It's in the description right below this video. One is to monetize first-time customers. And then as they place their first order, increasing their average order value, think about the significance of what that could do for your business to generate another 10, 15, 20% revenue on your first-time customer acquisition. Another course that we have, which is incredible, is monetizing holidays, major and minor holidays. With Black Friday and Cyber Monday coming up, if you're watching this in the next couple of months, every single month there's a major or minor holiday to monetize and take advantage of. Feel free to click the link right below this video in the description and you'll see exactly what that entails. But this is a massive game changer. I know for my business, redlinesteel.com, we generate an average of about 50% of our revenue off platform and scaling. Typically, this could be a red flag for a lot of e-commerce platforms when they drive this type of revenue from a percentage standpoint. But when you look at 100,000 plus orders brought in every single month, generating this type of percentage of revenue off platform has allowed us to scale rapidly and kind of get past all of these challenges of iOS 14 and 15 by looking at things and pivoting, looking at lead acquisition, and instead of monetizing just through conversion-based focused on social platforms, looking at it as a lead magnet and then trying to nurture them into being a customer off platform, utilizing email, SMS, and other platforms at scale to be a communication and that as that conversion-based focus. So guys, if you got value, let us know in the comment section your thoughts on this video. Make sure you subscribe to our channel if you haven't already, and check out our show, Colin with Colin. It's a chance for you to be on the show and ask me any questions, anything goes, whether that's marketing related or just general. So guys, invite.millionairecreator.com is where you can be on the show, and we'll see you very soon.
Boxes, I cannot fit in the boxes. Stop it, quitting was never an option. Exhausted,